गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्णा। और
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Am I audible?
हरे कृष्णा माता।
Am I audible?
यस माता जी।
Yeah.
माता जी।
Yes, thank you. So I welcome you all for today's session. And I seek blessings from all of you so that whatever I speak is in the Guru Parampara and pleasure of the Lord. And again, I welcome you for today's session, and let us start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavauscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padat Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitauscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, those who can switch on their cameras, please switch on. Thank you, Nandini Mataji, so that I can see you. So let us start with today's session. We are in the 12th chapter. Can somebody quickly tell some 1 or 2 points from yesterday's class?
We learned about the progressive aspects of bhakti. After that, we learned about the qualifications of devotees, what we should have. There are so many qualities.
Yes. And today also we are going to learn about more qualities.
More qualities.
Which we should cultivate so that we become dear to Krishna, right?
Yes. Little by little we are doing, Mataji, we are making effort to do it.
Yes, we all are making efforts.
Yes, Mataji.
Together, because in association is the only thing where we can do all these things, right? Due to association only everything is possible. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Anybody else wants to say something? Otherwise, we will start with today's verse. Any quality you remember? Yes, Nandini Mataji. Or you want to recite? Okay, no problem.
Mataji, a devotee, he should be non-envious.
Yes.
And he should be kind to everyone.
Correct.
And he should not have any false ego, or and he should always be equipoised. Like
Correct.
whether he is happy or in distress, he should treat everything as the same.
Correct.
And at the same time, he should be even tolerant, Mataji. He should
Yes.
also be tolerant. And
Yes.
so such people, they are very dear to Krishna. And that is what I understood, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare
Correct.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much,
Hare
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji. Special
Yes.
thing, Mataji, they mentioned that we should be very merciful, even to enemies also. Those who are
Correct.
thinking ourselves as enemies, so we should be merciful to them also. And attitude, everything, our attitude should be everything to Krishna on relationship to Lord only, like that yesterday Mataji was mentioning. So these 2 points I like, Mataji.
Yes, very good. Any example?
Example is of Prahlad Maharaj, Mataji.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even though Hiranyakashipu was doing, torturing him in so many ways,
Yeah.
We know all those ways, isn't it? But still, Prahlad Maharaj was never he was angry at Hiranyakashipu, isn't it? And he tolerated all those things, just remembering the names of the Lord. He was continuously chanting Narayan, Narayan, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji. And also another example is Vibhushan.
Yes.
Vibhushan.
Who?
Ravana's brother Vibhushan.
Vibhishan. Okay.
So one more example, Mataji, about Chitraketu. Chitraketu,
Yes.
Lord Shiva had kept Parvati on his lap and he was preaching. So that time was Parvati got angry.
Correct.
Yes.
What Mataji? Chitraketu.
Chitraketu. Yeah, he simply he did not counter question or something. Actually, he was thinking that Lord Shiva is preaching renunciation, and Parvati Devi is sitting on his lap. So the people will misunderstand this. That's what he was thinking, and he was smiling. But Parvati took it in a wrong way, and she cursed him. But Chitraketu immediately humbled himself and he immediately accepted the curse. Okay, so that this is the quality of devotee of a Lord. He gets angry, and he never he accepts the situation as it comes. He thinks it is all mercy of Krishna. Okay, so let us start with today's verse. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you want to recite the verse? Mataji is ready. Yes. Hare Krishna.
यो न हृष्यति न द्वेषति न शोष्यति न कांसति शुभ शुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान यस्य मे प्रियः. Translation: one who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and one who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Can I continue, Mataji?
Because today's verses are less, let us give chance to some other person. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes. Sudha Mataji, you will read the purport.
Yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna is now continuing with the qualities, more qualities. In this section 13 to 20, we are going to see the qualities which we need to cultivate so that we become dear to Krishna. Correct? Krishna is the most attractive, and that attractive Krishna becomes attracted towards us, towards the devotees, if we cultivate these qualities. So again, here the qualities are like Yona Rushyati. He doesn't take any pleasure. He na dveshti. He doesn't grieve. Na shochati, na kankshati. He never laments and he never desires. So there is one example. We were talking about Chitraketu Maharaj. So Chitraketu Maharaj, he had no son for a long time, and he was longing for a son. And by mercy of Rishis, Angira Muni blessed him, and so he got a boy. He got a son. But ultimately, he lost his son. Why? Because the other queens, I will not go into much details of the story, but the other queens of Chitraketu Maharaj, they were envious of this son, because Nobody else got the son. Only the principal queen, Krutadyuti, she got this son. And so naturally, Chitraketu Maharaj was paying more and more attention to her. And this, obviously, this son was beloved because he was the only son. And the other queens, they poisoned him, and the baby was killed by the other queens. And Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting, he was crying, and he and his wife Krutadyuti, they were practically mad, acting like mad. And at that time, we can see how people lament in this world for things, material things of this world, not knowing that this body is perishable. In any way, one day it is going to be taken anytime, any moment. But we don't understand this the most practical thing in this world. And then Narada Muni and Angira Muni came there, and seeing the lamentation of the king Chitraketu, Narada Muni woke up the child by calling the soul back into the body. And then the child spoke to his parents, Chitraketu and all his wives, and that child preached them. And then Chitraketu and his wives, they came back to senses and they understood. So lamentation and illusion. Here it is saying Rishati and Nadveshti. So, Shochati. He was lamenting a lot. But when he got that knowledge, philosophical knowledge about the body and the soul, at that time he was pacified. Similarly, we see that at the beginning of this Kurukshetra war, Arjuna was also lamenting for the loss of his relatives, correct? His teachers, his Pitamaha, Bhishma, and for everybody he was lamenting. But when Krishna gave him this knowledge of body and the soul, that we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul, and the body anyway, body is going to die at some point of time, right? So when Arjuna got this knowledge, then he no more lamented, and he came out of that illusion. So same thing happened with Chitraketu Maharaj here. So we should understand that a devotee never grieves or never rejoices like this. In whatever situation comes, he is equipoised. Like parents, they when we beget children, we are so happy and so jolly, and we feel that our children are the most obedient, and we so love and care for them. But once they go to teenage, after 15 and so, they become headache for us. They are kind of out of control, and we don't know what to do with them, isn't it? So therefore, we should not become too much happy or too much morose, because we should understand that this world is a place of duality. Today there is happiness, next moment will be distress, isn't it? So we should understand the dualities of this material world, and we should not worry much about them. We should just think of Lord by chanting the holy names of the Lord, that we should do. Then no shochati na kankshati. We know the example of Prahlad Maharaj. After Narasimha Dev killed Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj was made the king. He was just a small boy of 5 years old, isn't it? And he never desired to become the king, but Lord awarded him that, right? So he was not at all desiring for that, but he got that, isn't it? But even if he got that, he was not rejoicing. He was equipoised, and he ruled very in a very proper way, we can say. He ruled the kingdom very nicely. So he was least concerned about the kingdom, and he did not expect also anything. So that is the quality of devotee. He doesn't expect anything. In Chaitanya Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Mananena Kirtaniyaha Sadahari. So tolerant than a tree, and humble than the blade of grass, and amanina manadena. So never expect man or prestige for oneself, but always gives prestige to others. Correct? Amanina manadina kirtaniyah sadaharihi. So that is the case. Then Shubha Shubha Parityagi, who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. So the example here is gopis. They were always engrossed in the thoughts of Lord Krishna. And when we know that story, that once Krishna was having headache, and Narada Muni went to the gopis and told them that if you give the dust of your lotus feet, he went to lot of people. He first went to the Brahmanas. Krishna told Narada Muni that if I get the dust of the lotus feet of my devotees, my headache will go away. So Narad Muni went to the Brahmanas and they said, no, we can't do this because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we give him the dust of our feet, we'll go to hell. So he went to many people, but nobody was ready to give the dust of their lotus feet. But when Narad Muni went to gopis, the gopis immediately, they said, even for a moment, our Lord gets relief by taking the dust of our feet. We are ready to give that. And then Narad Muni asked them, but do you know the consequences of this thing? So they said, yes, we know. We will go to hell forever, but never mind if our Lord is getting relief for at least a moment. So that is they have renounced everything. Everything they were doing for the pleasure of the Lord. For they were always thinking of the Lord. That is renouncing auspicious and inauspicious thing. And one more thing we should understand, that whatever in this world, a devotee will never do material pap or material punya. Why? Because if we perform sinful activities, we have to go to hellish planets to suffer them. And if we perform pious activities in this material world, we'll go to heavenly planets and we will enjoy there. But again, we have to come back. So in this way, we will just keep going up and down like this. So if we just do material pap and punya. So what we should aim for is spiritual. We should try to acquire spiritual credits. Okay, there is a story of the story comes in Bhagavatam. Maharaj Nruga, King Nruga. So actually, two Brahmanas came to him, and he gave them 1,000 cows each. But by mistake, what happened? The cow from one Brahmana he gave to the second Brahmana, and they both of them, they were displeased, and actually due to that he became a lizard in the next birth. And actually, but because as King Nruga, he had also given donation to make Krishna's temple. So because of this pious activity in connection to the Supreme Lord, he became a lizard in Dwarka. Okay, and Dwarka Yadukumars, they were passing by there and they saw that this lizard is nothing but King Nruga. So they told Krishna about this, and Krishna came and he just touched that lizard with his lotus feet, and suddenly and immediately King Nruga, the lizard turned to that beautiful demigod King Nruga. Okay, so even if we do material punya, as I said, we have to just go up and down, keep doing like that. But if we do spiritual punya like this, like he had given donation to build Krishna's temple, and because of that, he got even if he was cursed, but he was liberated by touch of the lotus feet of the Lord. That added to his credit. Right? So that's why we should try to accumulate spiritual punya. by taking association of devotees and working for the pleasure of the Lord, engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord. That way, we will accumulate spiritual bhakti sukruti, what we can say. And we know in second chapter, Krishna says, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Correct? So whatever, simple, very small quantity of spiritual thing, whatever we do, that is never lost. We know that material things, whatever we accumulate in this life, they all are gone as soon as we leave this body. But the spiritual credits, they always remain with us. So that's why we should try to do that. Okay. And Krishna is saying such devotees are very dear to me. We'll go to the next shloka. Yes. Sirisha Mataji, you want to recite?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Dandavat pranam. Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 18 and 19. Samashetrau shamitre tata manapamanayah sitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitah tulya nindastu ter mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketah स्थिरमतिः
Bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
भक्तिमाने प्रिये नरः प्रियो नरः.
Mataji, read the translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in a devotional service, such a person is very dear to me.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Subbarao Prabhuji, you will read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. A devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress or happiness. He is very patient. He does not speak of anything but the topics about Krishna. Therefore, he is called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only of essentials, and the most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuffs, sometimes not, but he is satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree, and he may sometimes live in very palatial building. He is attracted to neither. He is called fixed because he is fixed in his determination and knowledge. We may find some repetition in the descriptions of qualifications of a devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Without good qualifications, one cannot be a pure devotee. Harav apaktasya kuto mahadgunaha. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop the good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him develop them. Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Again, some qualities here. How is the devotee? He is samaha shatraucha mitrecha. He is equal to all, to friends as well as enemies. Tatha manapamanayoho. Right? Equipoised in honor, dishonor, heat, cold, happiness, distress, fame, infamy. Right? So we have example here of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they were preaching, and they saw this Jagai and Madhai, and they were the most sinful people, most degraded people, and they were drunkards. All kinds of sinful activities they used to perform, and Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they told them to chant the names of the Lord. They asked them to chant the names of the Lord, and they were they were bewildered, and they hit actually Nityananda Prabhu. And still Nityananda Prabhu was so kind and compassionate. He was not at all angry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry because his devotee was hurt. His great devotee was hurt. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry at Jagai and Madhai. But Nityananda Prabhu is so compassionate that he pleaded for them, and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that don't do this. And seeing the behavior of Nityananda Prabhu, Madhai, he was one of the sinful persons. He begged mercy, he begged forgiveness, and he also made Jagai to also beg forgiveness. So that is how both of these sinful people, they were converted to devotees of the Lord. So even if Samah Shatraucha Mitrecha means they were kind of enemies because they were trying to attack Nityananda Mahaprabhu, but still he was not at all angry with them. Instead, he was having so much compassion for them. That is Samah Shatraucha Mitrecha. Manapamanayoho, honor, dishonor, femi, infamy, then heat, cold, happiness, distress, equipoised in all these conditions. The best example here is Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat, he was son of a Brahmana, but his step brothers, they always dishonored him. Correct? They always gave miseries. They did not give him food properly, and they were not treating him properly, and they made him a scarecrow to guard the fields in their farm. So they dishonored him like anything. But Jada Bharat was not at all disturbed by all such actions. Why? Because we know the story of Bharat Maharaj, and he became Jada Bharat. So he was having that knowledge, and he was totally fixed in the he has totally fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, and so he was not at all disturbed, and he was not at all he did not want to talk to the people in this material world, so that he just wanted to concentrate only on the service of the Lord. He was not at all interested in counteracting or counter saying anything to them. He was not at all interested, because he was not interested in again entangling in this world. He knew that when Bharat Maharaj he got attached to that deer, he had to take the body of a deer, and now he again got the body of human being to perfect his life. So he was not at all interested in talking to them, in talking nonsense things. And so he tolerated everything. And when he was called to carry the palanquin of King Rahuguna, he was carrying that. And at that time also he was seeing the ants were passing by. So he was waiting And then when the ants passed by, then again he started walking. So because of that, what was happening, that palanquin, it is carried by 4 people. So this one of them was Jada Bharat, and he was in between stopping and then walking, stopping, walking. So the palanquin was moving a lot, and King Grahuguna, he became very angry, and he actually dishonored Jada Bharat, because he became he was not they were not carrying him properly, so he was totally mad at Jada Bharat. But when Jada Bharat started speaking, he understood that he is not a dumb or mad man or retarded man as we are thinking, but he is a very learned, knowledgeable person. And then he immediately accepted his discipleship. He took his guidance, correct? So that way he honored him also, correct? But Jada Bharat, he was not at all disturbed by both these things. When the king was angry at him, he was not disturbed. When the king honored him, he was not disturbed, right? Similarly, before that, when Jada Bharat, the dacoits, they wanted to offer him as a sacrifice for that goddess Kali. First, they fed him very nicely, okay, and then they wanted to kill him. But at that time also, Jada Bharat was equipoised. He was not at all disturbed. He was not at all bewildered by their actions. So that is Manapaman, Sitoshna, Sukha, Dukha, whatever situation comes, the devotee is always equipoised. That we should try to cultivate it. I know it is very difficult when we are seeing all these qualities. You may think that how we can cultivate all these qualities in us. It is so difficult. We get angry by small things. If children don't listen to us, we become angry, isn't it? So it is very difficult to cultivate such qualities, but we should try. And then we will see in the next verse, Prabhupada is giving us how we can easily develop these qualities. Okay. So, and then Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. So Mauni is, and one more thing, Sangha Vivarjitaha. So giving up, free from contaminating association. Yeah. So generally, we should not take the association of the materially minded people, people of this material world, who are only after money and prestige and pride and all those things. So we should not take association of such people. Like we have example from the Shastras, Rup and Sanatan Goswami. They were at very great posts and they were working for Nawab Hussain Shah. Okay, and they were really at the one was treasurer and the other was I don't remember, but they were at very exalted positions. But still, they understood that we have to surrender to the Lord, and they simply gave up that association. Nawab Hussain Shah was alluring them with so many things, but they left his association. Actually, Sanatan Goswami was put into prison by Nawab Hussain Shah, but still he escaped from there, and both of them, they went to Vrindavan. They, under the guidance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they stayed there, and they wrote so many books, right? So this is Sangha Vivarjitaha. We have to give up the association of this materialistic people, correct? And then only we can advance in our spiritual life. Then Mauni. So Mauni doesn't mean a silent man. It means that he doesn't speak nonsense things. He doesn't do any prajalpa. He doesn't talk about politics, about cinemas, about actors, actresses, or what is happening in the sports. He is not interested in talking about all those things because all these are worldly things. So he only talks about Krishna, correct? He that is the control on his speech, and that's why he is called as Mauni, because otherwise he doesn't speak at all, like Jadabharat was doing. No, his brothers, they were teasing him so much they were torturing him, but he did not say anything to them because he was kind of Atmaram. He was please mute yourselves. Yeah. So he was contemplating on Lord only, and so he was not interested in talking to his brothers. So that is the meaning of Mauni. And then Santushtaha is satisfied in any situation. Whatever food, clothing, shelter Lord is providing, he is satisfied with that. Whatever Lord arranges, he has full faith in Lord. That's why he is always santushta. And we know that Prabhupada, he was always santushta. I mean, he went to America at the age of 70. We know that, and so many difficulties he had to face, but still he never ever he never ever blamed anybody for that situation. He was always santushta. Whatever Krishna is giving me, whatever situation Krishna is putting me, that is his mercy. That was his thinking. So we have to develop this thinking in our lives. And then Aniketaha means the devotee doesn't bother to make big house, no, a big bungalow for him. Whatever is available, he stays there. He is not hankering. I have to build a bungalow and I have to live comfortably there. He is not at all interested in all those things. Whatever accommodation is provided, whatever he has, he is happy in that. And then Sthiramatihi. Sthiramatihi means fixed in knowledge. Okay. So there is a story of Shukadev Goswami. When he was born, Vyasadev sent him to Janaka Maharaj to learn sense control. And when he went to Janak Maharaj, actually Janak Maharaj did not receive him for 3 days. He was just staying there outside the palace. The Janak Maharaj did not come and receive him. He did not welcome him. But Shukadev Goswami, though he was dishonored, he was not at all disturbed in that situation. And then after 3 days, it was kind of a testing by Janak Maharaj, right? So Shukadev Goswami was not at all disturbed. He was, just staying around there, around the palace. And after 3 days, Janak Maharaj received him, and he with a great, opulence. Correct. He had all the instruments they were playing, and he carried umbrella over him, and he received him in the palace. But Shukadev Goswami was equipoised. And then inside, Janak Maharaj, gave him a glass of milk, and he went around. He asked him to go around the palace, but the condition was that the milk should not spill. Not a drop of milk should not. It should not fall down. Correct. And Shukadev Goswami was moving around the palace. There were so many young girls dancing, and so many allurements were there in the palace. But Shukadev Goswami was not at all disturbed, and he passed that test. And then one more test he took, that he put sugar on his tongue, and he said it should not melt at all. So still Shukadev Goswami could do that also. So all the tests this Janak Maharaj carried out just to test the sense control or the Sthiramati of Shukadev Goswami, and he passed in all those tests. And then Janak Maharaj told Vyasadev that your son is perfectly sense controlled, because his mind is always posted in Krishna consciousness fully. And when one is such Krishna conscious fully, one is not disturbed by dualities. That is called as sthiramati. Okay, so that kind of fixed intelligence we have to develop. Correct? And then the last one is, yeah. And in purport, Prabhupada mentions that we may feel that these qualities are repeating again and again. In second chapter also we saw that Krishna says Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada. No, we should tolerate the dualities. Again here he is saying, again in 16th chapter, he will repeat these qualities. So why Krishna is repeating again and again and again? Why? Because otherwise we will take them very cheaply. Will not understand the greatness of these qualities. And it also shows the great rarity of these qualities. Only great souls can possess them. That we should understand. And at the end of this purport, Prabhupada also says that unless and until without these good qualifications, one who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop these good qualifications. And without good qualifications, one cannot be a pure devotee. That is the significance of all these good qualities. And that's why we should at least try to develop such qualities in ourselves. Okay. Yeah. Today's last verse, and with this we will complete 12th chapter also. Yes, Hema Malini Mataji, you want to read the recite the verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeto dharmartam idam yetoktam paryupasate shraddha dhanamat parama bhaktaste tiva me priyaha. Hare Krishna. Translation. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Can I continue, Mataji?
Mataji, let other people read the purport.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes, because this is the last verse for today. Yes, Shilpa Mataji and Padma Mataji, you can read the half of purport.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this chapter, from verse 2 through the end, from Maye Devasya Mano Ye Mam, fixing the mind on me through Ye tu Dharmam Tam Idam, this religion of eternal engagement, the Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. The question of who is better, one who is engaged in the path of impersonal Brahman or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the Personality of Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that through good association, one develops attachment for pure devotional service and thereby accepts a bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service with faith, attachment, and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that the devotional service is the only absolute path for self-realization for the attachment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mataji, let Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shilpa Mataji. Yes, Padma Mataji, you can read from the impersonal conception.
Mataji. Sorry. The impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth, as described in this chapter, is recommended only up to the time or until the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with the pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of the Absolute Truth, One works without fruitive results, meditates and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in the association of a pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service, he does not need to undergo step-by-step improvements in spiritual realization. Devotional service, as described in the mid 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, is more congenial. No need, one need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Mataji, read the last one also. Thus end the
Yeah.
whole.
Yes. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of devotional service. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So this 20th verse, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Krishna is saying that. So those who make this path as the goal of their life, Krishna comes, personally to take them back to his abode. We know that for Dhruva Maharaj, Krishna came personally. Then we can see that Srila Prabhupada, all the qualities which are described in 13 to this verse, we can see that Srila Prabhupada exhibited all these qualities. He traveled all around the world, and he practically engaged the whole world in Krishna consciousness. And he gave us the opportunity to cultivate these qualities. So how to become dear to Krishna is by taking shelter of the path of Bhakti Yoga. And 2-3 points here. What is the most recommended? It is mentioned in the purport. What chapter 12 recommends is, devotional service is the best of all processes. We know the other processes, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, isn't it? But Bhakti Yoga or devotional service is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. And how it is done? It is through good association. One develops attachment for such service, devotional service. Then one accepts a bona fide spiritual master. One surrenders to the spiritual master, and then he begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service. And that is how he progresses on the path of bhakti. That one is given. One more thing is given here is what happens to the impersonal. Those who, in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna asks, what is better, what is best, worshipping your personal form or impersonal conception of you. So here it is, Krishna, Prabhupada is talking about impersonal path also, the impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth. It is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. So as long as one does not get a chance to associate with devotees, all of us know, we have this experience that we came into bhakti only due to association of devotees. At some point of time, we got association of devotees and we came into bhakti. Do you all agree with this? Yes?
Yes, Mataji.
Otherwise, correct. We, at some point of time, we got some association and we came into bhakti. So unless and until till that time, one can be worship. One can have faith in impersonal conception of the Lord. But when one comes in association of the devotees, this impersonal conception will go, and we know that it works without fruitive result, meditates and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit and matter. Correct? So this is necessary as long as one is not in association with pure devotee. Correct? If one develops directly a desire, that is the conclusion of today's this thing, 12th chapter. What is the if one directly develops love for God, or desire to engage in Krishna consciousness, we know that this is like an elevator. We need not go by the staircase of different paths, right? Karma yoga, dhyana yoga, and then bhakti yoga. Instead of that, we directly take an elevator and we go back to Godhead. Correct? So the conclusion in simple words here, last 2-3 lines, that devotional service, one need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. Okay, so this bhakti marg, this is the simplest, and Krishna says it is the best path as compared to karma yoga, dhyana yoga. And Krishna is so kind that he gives us privilege to start bhakti according to our level. In verses of this chapter, 8 to 12 verses, Krishna talks about different paths, right? If you cannot directly come to me, at least try to follow the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti, right? Chanting or deity worship, then following the regulative principles, Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam, like that. So at least try to follow that, by which you can come to me. If you cannot do that also, then Krishna says at least work for me. Okay, like the well-wishers who give donations for building temples and all. So at least do that. By that way, indirectly, you will come to me. If that is also not possible, then try to get rid of the fruits of your actions. Okay, fruits of actions, they lead to bondage. So renounce the fruits of actions and give it selflessly to poor and needy. But even if you are attached to the fruits, then try to cultivate knowledge, so that I'm not this body, but I'm the spirit soul. Then what is temporary, what is permanent in this material world, what is short-term pleasure, what is everlasting bliss. Think about these subject matters. From this knowledge, you will come to the platform of meditation, and by meditation you will develop detachment or vairagya, and then for detachment for unwanted things of this material world, and then we gradually, you may be able to work for me. So Krishna is giving us different options. One or all of us will fall in one or the other option, correct? If we cannot directly develop love for Krishna, then Krishna is giving so many options. Try to follow the process of bhakti, sadhana bhakti. No, we don't right now, we all are in the category of sadhakas. We have not that spontaneous love like gopis for Krishna, isn't it? Gopis, they were ready to do anything and everything for Krishna. We are not at that stage, correct? We are still trying to follow sadhana bhakti, what all rules and regulations given for us, we are trying to follow that only. So Krishna is saying, at least by that, you will gradually develop love for me. If not, then he's talking about Nishkam Karma Yoga. Then he is giving us different paths. But the ultimate goal of our life should be devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That should be the ultimate aim of our life. That Krishna is stressing here. And I was telling you now that we have seen so many qualities, and we may think that it is so difficult to cultivate or develop such qualities. But Krishna is telling here that by the grace of Lord, everything is carried out automatically. If you just do the devotional service, correct, then automatically these qualities will be developed in you. Prabhupada is mentioning in the previous purport that one does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him develop them. Correct? So if we sincerely just follow the acharyas, and if we sincerely keep on doing devotional service to Krishna, then gradually over a period of time, we will definitely develop all these qualities, and that is Krishna is assuring us. Okay, so that is the takeaway for from this lesson, that is 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the devotional. The name is devotional service, and Krishna is telling us that this is the best path of going back to Godhead. Correct? So thank you so much. We will stop here. Yeah. So that is the conclusion of this chapter. This section, the middle 6 chapters, we know that they deal with Bhakti Yoga. So this is the conclusion of middle 6 chapters, we can see. Okay. So thank you so much for patiently hearing. And now if anybody has any questions, doubts, or any comments, you can ask, or you can see.
Mataji, I have one question, but this is
Yes.
not related to this. Not related to this. Any of these chapters.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Wait, Mataji. I'll just ask if anybody has any questions regarding the today's session. Otherwise, we'll take your question. Is that okay?
Yeah, Mataji. Sure.
Anybody has any doubts, or anybody wants to say something, then we will take that first. Otherwise, Mataji has a question. We'll try to answer that.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
My doubt is, as you do the devotional service and the bhakti yoga and the processes, you will develop these qualities, or you have to directly try for these qualities by taking one quality.
Correct. Prabhuji, if you keep, if you start doing devotional service gradually, these qualities will develop in you. You can see the transformation. Previously, we used to be angry on small things, right? But once you have this knowledge, you generally become, you calm down very quickly, generally we have tendency to respond to the things immediately. We react to the things immediately. Whatever is happening around us, we have that tendency to react. But gradually we understand, by having this knowledge, we understand that all things around us, they are continuously changing. And that way, we have that, we will not react like that, previously how we used to react. So that transformation is definitely going to come, Prabhuji. If you are sincerely chanting, if you are sincerely performing services, then this is definitely going to come. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Okay, Mataji. What my one detailed query? Once we follow, we automatically get this. Or we have to keep these qualities in the mind by drawing a sheet in front of us and try to acquire one quality by focusing on quality.
You can do that, Prabhuji. You are asking, I mean, automatically we will, if we are doing devotional service, we will get those qualities automatically, or we can focus on one quality and try to cultivate.
Which is the way it happens. It is what
it will happen that way also. But see, so many qualities are there. So it will take time, isn't it, Prabhuji? Instead of that, if we just engage ourselves in service under guidance, it will be little faster. Because qualities we see, we can take their names easily, but actually to cultivate that quality, it is going to take a lot of time, isn't it? To be non-envious, for example, how can we immediately, even if we fix our mind, if we try to concentrate, but still becoming non-envious is very difficult. Giving envy is very difficult. It can come at any point of time, isn't it? So that's why we have to doubt the things. These things are there: anger, envy, all lust, all these things, anarthas are there in our mind. But if we doubt them in the service of the Krishna, they become positive, they become favorable. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
If anybody else has to say, otherwise let Mataji ask the question. Okay, Mataji, you can ask the question.
Yeah, Mataji. Now, when King Sanatanu, when he married Mother Ganga, right? That is Bhishma Pitama's mother, no? Mother Ganga.
Yes.
So at that time, yeah, she married him on condition that all the children will be immersed in Ganga, right? So after they immerse like 6 children, Bhishma Pitama, he refused to put in the sea, right? Sorry, like in the river. There are like 6 children were put, and at the same time, when you go back, Devaki also, her 6 children were killed by Kamsa. Is there anything to do with these six children?
No. Actually, Ganga actually 7 children she put in water, like that. Because actually these were 8 Vasus, and they got this curse that you have to take birth on earth. Okay, so Ganga accepted. And Ganga also got curse, na? She has to go to earth. So the Vasus requested her, and she also agreed that you can take a birth from my womb, and I will immediately deliver you, because that was the only curse that they have to take birth. Okay, and only the 8th Vasu, Bhishma Pitamaha, he was supposed to live long on the earth. Other 7s, no, they were supposed to immediately go back. And that's why she immediately immersed them in water, and that way they got liberated. Okay, Mataji?
Yes. Then what about those 6 children?
And Devaki's, as far as I know, I'm not sure, Mataji, but as far as I know, there were 6 anarthas. So before Krishna, correct. Yes. So before Lord enters in our heart, they have to be cleared off, isn't it? So they were gone, and then Lord Balram came, and then Krishna came. That is the significance of that, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. This was bothering me. I was wondering. Very clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem.
Also, Mataji, Anarth, when you say Vasus, who are actually Vasus?
They are like Gandharvas, Yaksha, Devatas. You can say one of like Adityas, Vasus. They are all demigods, and they have different work to perform. All are from heaven, Mataji.
Okay, thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Planets, you can say.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, so if nobody has any questions, shall we stop here? Yes. Anybody, any one point you are taking home today? Any of you just want to share? Otherwise, we will stop.
Devotional service is the best.
Yeah, correct. That now that we should carry this always with us, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
And we have got such an association of devotees, so we should try to take more and more association and more purify ourselves and go back to God. That should be the aim of our life. And obviously, this is going to happen gradually, but we should strive for that, isn't it?
And practice all these qualities.
Correct. Yes. So if we keep on doing services in association, if we keep on engaging our mind in service of the Lord, then definitely these qualities are going to be cultivated in us. That is for sure. Okay.
Yes,
so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, krupa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavescha.